What's up, guys? Joe here checking in with you with Diamond Debates, coming at you with our first ever Diamond Debates podcast. That's right, number one. We haven't done one yet. Hopefully, this is the first of many, and we're going to get into it today. We're going to talk a little baseball, the MLB season potentially getting started. We're going to talk about some players who are pissed off about them not getting the money that they were promised. We're also going to talk a little non-baseball topics. We're going to get into some basketball, The Last Dance, some MJ talk, and we're going to talk a little football, some Gronk, some Tom, some Bucks, and what everybody thinks about that. I'm going to have a guest on, one of my best friends in the world, one of the best sports fans you'll ever meet, diehard Packers, Dodgers, and Warriors fan, but he's very knowledgeable of all sports, has an opinion on everything. His name, Brian Bordigary, but you know him and I know him as Bubba. He'll be on here in a minute. We're going to have him join the line. Get used to him because he's going to be on quite a bit. I love talking sports with this guy, and he was actually one of the inspirations to even get me going and talking about sports online for the rest of you. So if you hate me or like me, you could thank him for that. But we're going to get him on the line right now. Stay tuned. We got some good stuff coming at you with the first ever DD podcast. DD, Diamond Debates, for those of you who aren't catching up. Talk to you. All right, Bub, you with us?
What's up, man? How you doing?
What's up, buddy?
Not much, man. Just enjoying this nice Saturday afternoon.
Thanks for joining the show. I'm trying to get the cameras working here because I know we did a test run earlier, and when we talked, it was you on the screen, then me on the screen. So we'll just go with it, see how we do, and we'll just go from there. Huh?
Can you see me right now?
I do see you. You're looking good. Nice jersey. What player we got in the back of there?
We got Vince Carter, man. One of my favorite players of all time, dude. Someone who probably wouldn't be given the chance to be who he was if it wasn't for like a Jordan, you know?
How did you think of how he went out this year? If that is his last game. Carter, did you see how he ended it with a – remember how they kind of set him up to take that three at the last second before he came out of the game?
Yeah. Dude, when I get emotional when I talk about Vince, dude, I love that guy. But the fact that he's been playing the last 3 years and, like, every once in a while he'll throw down, like, a vintage Vince dunk, it reminds me, like, man, this dude was tight for, like, a good span of his career, and he's still playing. So, I mean, you got to love gave him a chance to go out on top, you know?
I'm huge on the underdog stories. There's two schools of thought on it, and, like, some players want to go out at their peak when they're the best, and I get that as far as, like, legacy goes and everything, but for me, like, and love of the game, like, if you did great things throughout your career, you'll be known for those. Like, unless you go out just a joke and embarrass yourself, I get that. Right. But he still played, you know, he didn't play his minutes like he used to, but he played here and there, but he played until he couldn't play anymore. He still was good. Like, and it's fun to watch. Like, I like that. I like seeing people play as long as they can, as long as they're not embarrassing themselves.
I think, like, too, with the NBA, like, you think about salaries, like, it's a pretty smart business decision for a 41-year-old who's, like, not expected to do much, maybe play 15 minutes a game to go make, like, even a couple mil. It's like, let me add to my fortune and just kind of mentor younger kids, you know? Like, it's a smart move, but, yeah, the dude's he's tight, man. I love Vince Carter for sure. He's my guy.
That's a good segue because I was letting everybody know before we got you on the line, we're going to be talking baseball, of course. That's what we do here. But we're also going to be talking a little bit of basketball, a little bit of football, because I don't know about you, but without any live sports, I'm literally watching anything that's new that has to do with any type of sport. So I've been watching The Last Dance, and I thought that was awesome. I know we talked a little bit about that, and you've been checking that out. What are your thoughts on that so far?
Oh, man, Last Dance is great. But, I mean, just to touch on your first point, like, I've been watching the Korean Baseball League. So, I mean, about hurting for sports, like, we're definitely looking for anything we can get. But I really think The Last Dance is kind of, like, given at least me something to look forward to. Man, it's so good. Like, I've talked to so many people that aren't sports fans, you know, a lot of people that are just, like, in passing. You know, when people ask, what are you doing during this time? It's like, oh, you know, watching The Last Dance. And like, oh, yeah, Michael Jordan was so good. And, like, people don't realize, like, the intricacies of someone like Jordan, right? Like, everybody knows who he is. Everybody knows what he's done for the game. But no one knows the in-depth stuff, even, like, the big-time Jordan supporters. So some of the things I took away, dude, he's a GOAT, man. You look at some of, like, how cutthroat he is and how like he motivates himself to just be great. Like there's a lot to be said for that. But the documentary in itself is like there's a lot of cool things. Like obviously, Scottie Pippen is he has to be the most underrated dude of all time, right?
Ever. I didn't know anything about him other than that he played with Jordan until this documentary. Like all those players, like good and bad. It was pretty shitty move that he sat out there at that game when he decided not. I mean, you're not going to take the last shot, and the way it turned out and how it brought the team together was cool, but I don't know if he was too pumped that story was told.
Yeah, and I think too, like it's one of those things that kind of shows even more so to the leadership of Jordan, right? Like you think he'd do that if Michael Jordan was there? Like no fucking way. Like Michael Jordan would get him on the court, and you can see in Mike, like when he talks about it, he's upset about it. He feels for Scotty's legacy, and he's like, you know, it's crazy, man. I didn't even know that happened. You know what I mean? Like,
that's the crazy part. All the stuff that's behind the scenes. Like I'm watching it, and I was alive during that time, and not a huge basketball fan, but I still knew what was going on at the time. And now I'm watching this documentary with my girlfriend, who doesn't know anything about basketball, but she's even into it, and she's asking me questions like, "Did you know this was going on at that time? Did you know about this?" I'm like, "Nobody did." Like that's why this is so awesome. Like you just thought everything was perfect, but on the inside, all this crazy turmoil was going on, and players are mad about salaries. And I didn't even know Scotty was that underpaid and that he took that big of a pay bump or pay cut because of his family and just wanting to get his. Like, totally understandable, but
could you imagine like how much money he left on the table? But also like this day and age where like role players in any professional sports are getting paid handsomely. You got like bench guys in the MLB and NBA that are millionaires that are making way more than Scotty made. Like it's so nuts to me that
you got guys sitting on the bench now. They're making more than superstars made 15 years ago. You know what I mean? Like it's just crazy, and there's nothing they could do about it. Huh?
Yeah. I was like, well, Jordan was still getting his,
but if you go look, they broke down the numbers over the course of their NBA careers. Pippen made more than Jordan salary-wise. Jordan just takes over Pippen as far as all his endorsements and this and that. But a purely NBA salary, Pippen made more than Jordan over the courses of their career, which is crazy, but he didn't make his money till later. But it just shows how much they were underpaid.
Pippen had some good shoes with Nike, too. Like, obviously,
I remember.
Jordan's, but Pippen has those Air Up Tempos that say Air on them super
No,
big.
yeah.
Those are sick, dude. Like
he had some back in the day that I really liked.
Yeah, he was a baller, and like I think this documentary kind of reminded me, like, damn, like Jordan was great, but like if there's no Pippen, I don't think there's like back-to-back three-peats or whatever it was. No. Like,
and Rodman, how nuts he was. I couldn't believe that they let him take a Vegas trip mid-season, let him go, and the coach and the head player Jordan are like, "You gotta let him do it. We're never going to see him again, but you got to let him do it." Like, how nobody would ever let that go. And if the media knew about that now, you'd be banned, shunned. Nobody would talk to you. You'd be the worst person in the world. Back then, it was just business as usual.
And I think it goes to show, like, with the advancement of, like, the microscope that, like, athletes are under, I feel like Jordan would have been, like, with the gambling and kind of how he was as a teammate, like, totally demanding. Like nowadays, I don't know how that would play with like the younger generation, like because we're all about sound bites, we're all about things like that. Like to hear like Jordan like talking bad to his teammates, like that would be a thing on Twitter, or like
talked about in all the sports shows, like
and so that's something to take into account too. Like that Jordan's letting this out. It's like there's such a different like time frame. The 90s and late 80s, like when he played, were just different. And
there's no social media, and they still knew everything he was doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
it's wild.
Well, and that's a whole nother argument in itself. Like, I don't know if you've been watching all the talk shows, but like Skip and Shannon and all those shows, Get Up Now, and they're all talking about his leadership ability. And like, I know personally, I wouldn't have liked it, but I would have been more on the Kerr side. Like, I would have fought back. So apparently he would have respected me because you in case you guys don't know out there, me and Bubba, his name's Brian, but we call him Bubba. We played ball together in college. Brian's a catcher turned reliever, played at Sonoma State, really good athlete, good at everything, but he was a baseball player originally. That's how him and I became friends. But and I know you as well, if somebody, because we did get pushed in practice and games and you stood up for yourself, and I would too. So apparently we would have guys respect. But a lot of people like Shannon Sharp, shout out to you. I love watching your show. he says that he would have fought Mike, but he does not agree at all with his, his leadership ability. And he's a LeBron guy. That's out there. That's stated. He thinks LeBron's the GOAT. Michael's behind him. So that might have something to do with it. But I don't know. I wouldn't have personally liked his leadership ability, skills based off of these videos. Personally, I would have defended myself, but I don't think I would have dug it. I'm more the positive route, the way LeBron kind of says he wants to be. That would be more my style. I kind of want to get your take on that. How would you? Because you're kind of a tough guy too. Like,
yeah, I was always not necessarily tough. I was never the best player on any team I've been on. Like, I would work hard, but even then, like, I'm not the type of guy that's like, leadership is taking care of yourself, right? Like making sure you're doing your own thing for me. But one of the takeaways I had from this documentary is that it just kind of goes to show like there are different ways to win. Like, yes, Jordan was cutthroat and, he won his 6 titles and, the three-peat then. But you think about the guys that were beating him before he became Air Jordan, like Isaiah Thomas, like, obviously, like, is Isaiah Thomas that demanding? You think about Larry Bird, another winner back then. Like, I don't see Larry Bird being an a-hole, excuse my language, like Michael Jordan or Magic Johnson, who won 5 titles. Like, you see Magic coming down on his teammates like that. Like, I don't know the history. Maybe these guys behind closed doors, people can speak to that a little bit more than I could. But, Kobe was kind of the same way. I just saw the interview that Jeremy Lin did in a podcast where he talked about how Kobe came to practice. R.I.P. Kobe, first and foremost. Man, you're a legend. R.I.P. you and your daughter and everybody else in that crash. But Jeremy Lin had a story this week where he said that Kobe had shoulder surgery one of the years the Lakers were really bad. And he showed up to practice in a sling, and Carlos Boozer was telling him, like, hey, Kobe, like, what are you doing here at practice? Like, it's good to see you. And Kobe said, I'm here to say bye to some of these bums that are going to get traded tomorrow. The day before the trade deadline, he goes and does that. So it's like, I think there's a fine line between, like, being someone who's trying to motivate your teammates, which Jordan did very well, right? Everybody will talk to the fact that he rose the level of their play. But showing up to a practice to say bye to bums, that's kind of crazy. But I could see Jordan doing that too, like, it's nuts. Like, so I think there's different ways. And LeBron's a great example, right? You never hear people talking about LeBron being hard on his teammates. And maybe that's why, he's been to so many finals and they don't pull through, is because he's not on them relentlessly. That's one of the things that they always talk about with LeBron. But,
I like LeBron too, but it showed that he has his moments where he's been a poor sport, or like he looks like he kind of cops out in the middle of the game, or like gives up on his players. And that might be the difference between him and Jordan, because I don't think you really, even if he felt that way, it doesn't seem like he did that in the game. But
right. Well, and then it goes more to that social media that we're talking about, right? Like, everything LeBron does is under a microscope. Like, I'm sure if you go back and review the tape, like, I'm sure there's moments when Jordan's rolling his eyes at his teammates. And,
yeah.
You can see it in practice. There's a practice where he's asking for the ball, like, pass it to me. And the dude doesn't pass it, and he misses a shot, and Jordan just shakes his head and walks. And you see all the guys running past him, like, in transition, and Jordan's just walking like, you dumbass. Like, I'm Jordan. You didn't pass to me. Like, it's so funny. It's such a good documentary, and I'm really excited for the finale episodes coming up, because it actually helped my wife, Kim, as you know. She's been really into basketball now. So we got the hoop up in the front yard. We've been doing basketball practices every Wednesday. Like, no joke, like doing dribbling drills across the street.
I've seen the IG video. She's putting up her shots.
Yeah, dude, her shot's solid. Like, she's worked on it. It's like
he's still inspiring after all these years.
Right. People are going to come out of the quarantine with different skills, and Kim's going to be like, I can shoot free throws pretty good. Like,
I wouldn't fold under the pressure, so I could do it.
The hardest part is understanding what double dribble is, but I mean, it's expected, right? Like, you're not going to go in and be like, wait, I can't pick up the ball every once in a while. Like,
I've literally, since this documentary started, I bought a pair of Jordans and 3 shirts, Jordan shirts, like old school ones.
What Jordans did you buy?
They're old school, like, they're loud. I'm getting another pair that was more like the ones he wore in Space Jam.
You're getting the Space Jam Jordans, the 11s?
Yeah, those are the ones, the white with the black around the bottom, the shiny black.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're smooth. I want those.
I gotta get
Hold
you.
on, wait. This is a good time for a break. We'll be right back, guys. Bub's gonna grab his Jordans. I'm gonna grab mine. We'll be back. This is a good time for a break. Stick with us. All right, so we're back. When we last left off, me and my boy Bubba, we're going to grab our Jordans. You go first. What do you? I don't know the numbers, so I think mine are like, I don't know if you'd say generic, but I think they're just Jordans that they made like for look. And mine are loud. I'm gonna warn you ahead of time. They're loud.
I'll let you know they are.
Right.
But mine, I got the 9s. So these are the ones that in the documentary they talk about, like when he went to play baseball, he came out with the 9s. So like they show him taking ground balls in the gym, and like he's wearing these ones right here. So I've always liked the 9s. I don't know what it is about them. I think it's like kind of the high wraparound right here. I've always been drawn to that. I like the high top. So I saw some of these on Nike. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna pull the trigger.
When I do the editing, I'll pull a picture of the 9s up so people can get a good view, and I'll also pull a picture. I'll also pull a picture up of the ones I'm talking about that I'm gonna get, so they can see what we're talking about. Now, these are the ones I bought after watching this documentary. It's like when I was a kid, like I was telling my girlfriend, we didn't have a ton of money, so like I always got like the knockoff shoes, and like I got the Nikes that were. I never got to pick. They picked me. If they were on sale, that's what I got. And I remember my 13th birthday, my sister was like, you can get any pair of shoes you want, like any kind. And I was telling her back in the day, like Foot Action was the store. Like in the mall, you went to Foot Action. That's where you got your shoes. And I never forgot. I went, and it was between a pair of Up Tempos and these Jordans.
The Air Up Tempos? Or?
Yeah. They were like black with neon green. Like they had just come out. And then there were the Jordans. They were the ones that they were white with like the little golf ball indentation, like divots. And on the bottom, on the heel, they said Jordan. You know, they're white and black, and they said Jordan.
The team Jordans, like the Jumpmans.
Yeah, I got those, and I was like, my life was changed. And I was like, and since then, like I've always wanted to start buying Jordans again, but I never. I think I'm gonna start doing it now. But
the lettering for the Jordans on that's kind of bigger, right? Like,
yeah, and they're on the heel. Yeah. They're clean.
Those are cool. Those were sick when they first came out, for sure.
And then Denzel rocked a pair when he got out of jail. And remember, he goes to Big Five and buys a pair of Jordans. And
they got game 13s, man.
See, damn, you know your numbers. I just know the shoe, but you're better than me. So tell me, this is gonna be a trick. Now, keep in mind, I bought these purely for the color. These are like once a year wear.
Let's just see them, dude. So those are the flights. They're like, I think they call them the 720 something, right?
Can you see these colors though?
Yeah,
they're showing up well.
They are. It kind of looks like the Charlotte Hornets colors.
Yeah. That's a good. That's a good. That's a good drop. But like, I saw those online. Honestly, that's probably the most, because I still buy discount clothes, but those I saw and I bought full price for them. But I got a website I got to tell you about. My mom would hate me, but it's like.
Well, don't give it to our listeners.
Yeah. It's my secret. That's how I've been buying so much gear lately. And I can't tell my girlfriend either. She'll get pissed. But anyways, all right, cool. So we're in agreement. Jordan documentary, definitely worth watching. If you haven't started watching it, check it out. It's for everybody. My girlfriend doesn't even like most. I'll take that back. She likes sports to a point. She's into it. She can't wait to watch it every week. I'm sure Kim's the same way. Go check it out. Shout out to ESPN. Great job. Jordan, too, real quick, he had to approve everything on this. And after he did it, he was real concerned that it was going to make him look like a jerk. So it's like my favorite part about it, I think, other than everything we're finding out, is like when they hand him the iPad and he gets to watch what other players say and he reacts to it. That's tight, how they did that.
That's the problem I have with it. Like, it's okay. Like, but when I think they did that when Gary Payton was talking about him, right? And Jordan's just laughing him off, and like,
I wasn't worried about the glove.
But Gary Payton was tight, and he was the only thing the Sonics had in that finals, right? So like, I feel like it just kind of plays to like Mike being a jerk. Like,
he brushes off everybody. He's like, I wasn't worried about the glove. Like, I wasn't worried about Charles. Like, he doesn't give a shit about anybody.
And he didn't have to be. I mean, the only team that really had his number was those Pistons. Like,
it's funny that Rodman was like a key figure. There's so much to talk about. We could do a whole special just on. There's Rodman. There's the whole Isaiah Thomas thing you can get into. Yeah. Like, we'll have to another time. This will be a good.
And we're not big time basketball fans. But yeah, it's good
Imagine
stuff.
if you were, you know what I mean? You know what? We'll wait till the last two come out, then we can do a whole show just on that, which I think people will love to watch. But anyways, we'll go on to the next topic. We're going to get to baseball. Actually, we're going to get to that now. We're going to talk about football, but we'll talk about that another time. It's coming up. Plenty of time to talk about football. Let's get into baseball. So we're going to talk about the season and that kind of getting started and everything we think about that, but kind of like a prelude to get into that. Bubba's a Dodger fan, die hard. Don't watch a game with him if you don't want to hear some intense yelling. He's one of those types of fans. He knows the sport. He knows his guys. So I wanted to get your opinion first off. It looks like there's going to be a season, so that's good. Mookie won't be a complete waste. But if there is a season, do you even care? Because is it a season? Like, do you think of it as a full season? If they have a season, who really cares? We're going to touch on that. And then Mookie, you gave up quite a bit for him. I want to know what your thoughts are. Had you had him for a normal season, were you cool with that trade? And now looking at it and whatever season we might have, of course, if we don't have a season, it was a wasted trade. But if we do have a season, you guys win, was it worth it? Go.
So first one, the season. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about an abbreviated season. 81 games. Yeah. Cool. It would be cool to watch baseball, but at the end of the day, being a Dodger fan, we're starving for a World Series, dude. We want a World Series really bad. To win one this year would be like, I'm not going to go around being like, yeah, we got that monkey off our back because we did it. It's kind of an asterisk, and you disappeared on me right now, but
keep talking.
So basically, I'm not the hugest fan. I get it's something to watch, it's something to do, but there's a lot of different things that go into it that I'm just not that thrilled about. I'm not thrilled about not being able to go to a game. First off, that sucks. Not being able to see Mookie is gonna hurt. Yeah, man, it's just kind of a weird feeling, like I know I'm gonna watch every Dodger game if they do play this half season. But at the end of the day, it's like, what are we playing for? For national comfort? Like, yeah. I'm not. I get it, but I'm just not gonna support that full force. So
I'm with you on that.
To play and not make their money or whatever. Like whatever.
It seems like now it's only about revenue and money. Like now they just want to get games in. The players want to play because they want to play, which I respect that. And they also want to get paid, which they have to. It's their livelihood. Who would doubt or get mad at them for that? But as far as the players and all, and the owners and whatnot, they want revenue. So they're trying to figure out any season they can to get money coming in. I get that too. Right. But to your point, what are they playing for? If they win a World Series, are they going to get respect like they would if they won a 162-game World Series? Does it matter? Right. And you guys gave up Jeter Downs, which a lot of people, you really have to be digging into the prospects to know who he is. But just to give you a quick he's good. He's somebody that has the potential to be good, could hit in the minors. And then you gave up Verdugo.
Lose, man. That will hurt the most if we lose Verdugo and all we end up with next year is David Price. And you know what I mean? Like that's gonna. I think because of how good Verdugo was, like the Dodgers owe it to the fans to like, let's sign Mookie. We know what he can do. We don't need to see him at all. Like pay that man his money. We didn't pay Bryce. We didn't pay all these high-priced free agents because they want to build from within. Well, when you trade your one prospect like Verdugo, who I think can be a all-star caliber player, you gotta commit to Mookie. Like give the man what he wants. We got the money. Like I'm not worried about that. I mean, to have the opportunity to play two MVPs in the outfield, it's something that a lot of teams don't get that chance. And I think Dodgers ownership and management, they need to just get whatever happens with this whole, postponement or anything like that. They need to get Mookie back in the fold, dude. He's a man.
No, I agree. I think he's an LA guy. I think he belongs in a big market. I think LA they fit him in that town together. I'm hoping that he wants to experience what LA has to offer in a full season. I don't think he's going to think that this is what he signed up for. And as long as they throw him the money, I don't think he's going to be one of the money is going to be weird moving forward in a normal market, but coming off of a season like this and revenues, who knows what free agency is going to be like, if players are going to be getting the deals they normally would, if they're going to be okay with that. I don't know if you read it. I sent you an article that Blake Snell was very open with the fact that I know my camera disappeared. Hopefully you can still hear me.
Yeah.
But that he was very open with the fact that he does not want to play for abbreviated salary. He's owed $7 million this year. It comes out to the fact that he might get half of that. And, and he was talking about $7 million goes down to $3.5 million. I'm having some technical difficulties on my camera, so just bear with me. But so $7 million goes down to about $3.5 million after taxes, agent fees, all that. He's looking at like $1.2 million, which to a common person, that's a lot of money. But to a guy that's been waiting a long time to finally sign a big deal and make his money, and then now he's supposed to be playing for $7 million. He's not getting any younger. He came back out and said that he does not want to sound greedy or rude or anything like that, but it just kind of is what it is. And he doesn't want to risk his health. He doesn't have the best health, apparently, immune systems or whatever. There's a lot of players in the league that apparently have health issues that they're not, that the common person wouldn't know about, but that anybody has to deal with. And he doesn't want to necessarily do it. And he said that he's going to kind of take a step back and see what his peers do. And moving forward, he'll assess from there. He kind of initially said he will not play. He kind of backtracked on that a little bit. What do you think? Was that something you would you kind of consent to the league? Would you just do your own thing? I mean, it's tough.
It's tough. First off, there's a couple things from Blake Snell. Like, one, I'm not going to tell some man, how to care about his health or his money, right? Get your money, do what you want to do. I thought one of the quotes that I saw was pretty funny from that. His line was, "Bro, I'm risking my life." Like, well, that yes, I understand, this is very, very serious, this virus, but, professional athlete, you are risking your life, but you're also risking your life, going outside throughout the day, but at the end of the day, like, I thought that was a little bit embellished on his part to say that. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to tell somebody that they're not making their money. And the players seem to support him. Bryce Harper came out and was saying, he said what he felt. Like, I get where he's coming from, Kershaw, not as overly supportive, but saying, hey, I think he just spoke from the heart. And, there's definitely a discrepancy, right? People, analysts want to talk about, playing for the love of the game. And, they're taking care of all the health risks of trying their best. But, I mean, I feel like they're in the same boat that the owners are, right? If there's no baseball, there's no baseball analysts, Mark Teixeira is not going to go spouting on ESPN every day about baseball if there's no baseball to be going on. So the thing that people don't realize is that MLB is coming off a record high, industry, freaking $10.7 billion they made in 2019. And that's the highest that they've ever made. So for anybody to think it's anything other than money is naive. It's all about the money. And the same way the owners are trying to get this season going so they can get some kind of money, I think the players have to kind of be strong and say, well, if you're going to put my health at risk, which they are, I need my full contract. Like, that's the season. My contract doesn't say, if the season goes partial, then you take half my thing, which I think they already agreed to a half pay cut.
It's going to be prorated. So they said that if they play, they'll basically make half of if they play the games they're saying right now, they'll make a prorated rate, half their salary.
Right. And you know what? At that point, like, it's up to the players and the health. Like, who are analysts to be like, oh, you're greedy, you're this and that. Baseball's one of those things where luckily contracts are guaranteed, but you can throw out your arm and be nothing. And Blake Snell, who snaps off a hell of a curveball, he has one elbow injury, he'll never get another payday again. So he's got to capitalize while he can, man.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy Cy Young season. So for someone to tell him like he doesn't need to take care of his health, they're honestly just not being realistic, I think, with the situation. So it's kind of tough, man. It's tough. But the season being played right now, it won't feel the same at all. My biggest hurt is that the All-Star game was going to be at Dodger Stadium this year. And
I know. I was going to go. I've been wanting, especially now with the way they have the format of the home run derby, like, even if I just went to that in the Celebrity All-Star game, like, I'd be cool. Like, just to go down there for the weekend and be around that environment, I was 100% in. So I'm hoping that gets fixed, but that is a bummer. Good point. Way to ruin my day even more. God.
Yeah, I'm a Dodger fan, so it definitely ruined my day. Dodgers would have had more All-Stars than the Yankees. So
hold on, I got that pulled up right here. You're saying, I don't know if you've, I'm not sure you have, but other people haven't heard how Blake Snell talks. So if you try to put his voice to this quote, but y'all got to understand, man, for me to go out there and take a pay cut is not happening because the risk is tough. The risk is through the roof. It's a shortened season, less pay. I got to get my money. I'm not playing unless I get mine, okay? And that's just the way it is for me. Like, I'm sorry you guys think differently, but the risk is why the hell higher than the amount of money I'm making is way lower. Why would I think about doing that? Like, I'm sorry.
yeah. Well, where's Blake Snell from? Do we know? Do we have a?
No idea, but I've been watching him a lot on that Players League he was playing the show. So then I started following on Twitch, and boy's funny, man. He drops some you'd like him. Like, he is funny.
Yeah.
He's funny to watch play the show. I'd love to play him. I challenge you right now, Blake, if you ever see this, I pray that some major leaguers see this, if that's what the whole point is. I got one I know is going to watch it. My boy Marcus, shout out Marcus Walden, Red Sox. He will be doing an episode later on in a few weeks. But speaking of Marcus, yeah, name drop him. Marcus Walden, ex-roommate, good friend of mine, Red Sox pitcher. Anyways. But speaking of the pay and everything, Marcus is a major leaguer, kills it for the Red Sox and their relievers, their bullpen. But he just made it to the show. He's 30, 31 years old. Now this is happening, taking away, a year of his season. He's finally coming into his own, killing it. People are seeing now what we've seen for years, that he's nasty, but he finally is making a name for himself. But now right at the heat of that, the season stopping, he'll be fine as far as he's going to have his job and everything. But this is a year of money that he deserves to be making that's not being made, that he's been working hard to earn and stuff like that, service time and all that stuff. Like, thank God for him. He played a full season last year. So the service time rule is your service time this year is based off last year. So that's why the Dodgers are screwed with Mookie. He's going to get paid for all of last season because he paid a full year. In Marcus's case, that's awesome because now he's getting based off of a full year. That's great. But for other players, it's just a really weird system. And it's even hard to talk about because we don't have any facts really yet on what's going on. So it's all kind of hearsay. But from the looks of it, we're going to be getting started here in June with some spring training, July with some actual games. The divisions are going to be messed up. They're going to be mixed up. There's going to be a universal DH, it sounds like. We're going to get going here soon. Save some of this for the next episode. But real quick, what do you think on the universal DH?
I like it. I mean, the DH has grown on me in the last couple of years, just because I'm kind of over like the game of pitchers laying down sacrifice bunts, and if they don't, they're basically another out. And I know people say, "Oh, well, it's part of the game," but the game changes. I mean, things have changed over time, and kind of just the same way. I feel like I'm a new schooler with the celebrations and the bat flips, like. I used to be like, oh, man, I can't believe they do that. But now it's like, you know what? Let's just roll with it. So,
especially after watching the KBO. Holy shit.
Right. I think the main reason I'm for the DH is because the Dodgers bench is so deep that –
that's what I was going to say. That's bullshit. You guys would be so nasty with a DH. I knew that was the only reason why. If you had a whack bench, you'd say no, no, no.
All right, it's like, you mean to tell me that Max Muncy doesn't have to play the field? I'll take it. I'll let Max hit 35 dingers for the DH role. Like, Max will hit 30 bombs in a half season. I guarantee you. That guy, talk about coming out of nowhere, man. That guy's been awesome for the Dodgers.
I know, you could do a whole story just on players like him and like Evan Gattis, like just those crazy.
Yeah, well, he's another that it's really going to affect because this is the first year he's starting to make money. I mean, the guy was like I want to say like a league minimum type guy.
Yeah.
Dodgers just threw him 3 years, $26 million deal. So someone like him who deserves to get paid has to wait.
They got 2 years of free all-star production, basically. Good for them because they deserve it. They took a shot at him when he was almost out of the game. So those are the stories I like. He got a shot from a great team. He produced. They got great production for free. Now they're giving him his money, even though he's a little bit older. He earned it. That's a good story. Worked out for both sides. So I'm cool with that. And he's a guy you want to root for.
Right. And, I think just to I can't get off the Dodgers. They're so good in my mind.
That's why you're here.
But just thinking about Mookie and Belly in the outfield, and, like, even people forget, like, I've been hard on Jock Peterson myself, in the past. I feel like sometimes just kind of nonchalant for how he plays the game. But the guy's he's a former All-Star already. He drops bombs.
He's a part-time player that hits 30 home runs and drops 80 RBIs, and he doesn't even play all the time. Like,
And it's like put him in left field and let him play the easiest defensive position in the outfield. You have two Gold Glover MVPs in right and center. I think Jock is one of those underrated guys. And people forget they canceled the trade to the Angels. Like Jock and Ross Stripling should be Angels right now.
Yeah.
But for the reason they canceled that trade, and so the Dodgers said, well, we'll still trade Maeda to, the Twins for that Gratterall or whatever, who throws gas, by the way.
He might end up being a sleeper best piece out of the whole move. Like, they have him on the show. They brought him out as so they have diamond players on the show, which are like badass players, and he got featured as one of them. He's unreal on the game, like unreal nasty. And speaking of that game, Jock Peterson, he's a sleeper cheat on MLB The Show. He's one of my favorite hitters. He drops bombs on that game. Like, his swing on that game is so easy to hit. I love it.
Yeah,
one of my favorites.
He's awesome. He's pretty good. Thinking about, it's just.
I'll take him on the Yankees. He dropped 40 in New York.
Who, Peterson?
Yeah.
Oh, with that short porch, dude, he'll easily drop 40. That guy.
Easy.
He'll turn
I'll take him with the strikeouts.
And he has crazy oppo power too. Like, he just has some dumb strength, man.
And he steps it up in the playoffs. I don't care he gets big hits in the playoffs.
Yeah,
he strikes out a lot, but he gets big hits when you need them, which I'll take that. I don't care if you strike out 2/3 of your bats when no big situation, when you come up with runners on or at the end of the game and you always get it done. I'm cool with that. I'll take that every day.
I can't remember exactly what his stats were in the World Series the back-to-back years, but I know he had some big bombs for us. So I'm like, that's what I remember for sure. And not to mention just coming up being, I think he won the Rookie of the Year, didn't he? Jock, or he might up there. Yeah, I want to check my stats, but yeah, Jock is, since he's been in the league, has been awesome, man. Coming out of the minor leagues was a 30-30 guy. I mean, I don't think he'll ever touch 30 steals again, but
that's right.
He was pretty highly touted guy, dude. He's good, and he's kind of the forgotten guy. They're trying to get rid of him to, let some other people play. We got, but I think we just keep him in the fold and just have an outfield that's just amazing.
Yeah, he's streaky. Definitely a good bat to come off the bench. And one name that has been forgotten. What about Tolles? Where did he go?
Tolles had some. He's.
Is he back bagging groceries?
He's one of those guys that, he has one of those crazy stories to get to the MLB, and unfortunately he had some more issues.
He got hurt, right?
He got hurt, but then I think once he was making his way back, some other stuff came up, and he's kind of washed out, I think, at this point, or I haven't heard from him.
I'm going to follow up on that. That'll be a good little follow-up story, because I was rooting for that guy. He could hit. That little brief stint he got, kid could hit.
Yeah, man, he's got those eyes. His eyes were all like – he could see the plate pretty well. He used to scare me in there. Like, I'm like, man,
got them Dave Chappelle eyes.
This guy is focused right here, and he could hit. He could just hit, man. And I think he tore his ACL like going after a foul ball. Sucked. But he'll do good somewhere else if someone picks him up for sure. But our outfield and our future is just so bright, man. I mean, we're not my biggest thing too, Gavin Lux. I'm not even going to get to see him play a full year. And, that's the guy they talk about as being one of the best prospects in all of baseball. So, not to mention you got Seager coming back. And here's the thing that all the naysayers and detractors of the Dodgers want to talk about. Oh, they need to trade Seager so Gavin Lux can go to shortstop and keep Turner. Seager is the man, okay? He's by far my favorite Dodger. I've always loved Corey.
What?
Yeah, he's my guy. This is the sweetest lefty swing. And the thing is, people are like, oh, well, he had a down year last year. He led the league in doubles coming off of Tommy John surgery. So the guy really didn't even have that much of an offseason. And then to lead the league in doubles, still hit 281 have a career high in RBIs with 87, 19 bombs. You mean to tell me
is that the year he had last year? Really?
Bombs, 87 RBIs, 44 doubles.
Did he play a full season? Was he healthy all year, or did he start late?
Yeah, he played 130-something games, so he missed a few with a hamstring thing.
That's
but for a shortstop putting up that production, and then you look at his career numbers, the guy has done nothing but produce his whole career. He's amazing.
Put him in that lineup, the numbers you just said in that lineup, like, how's that hurting,
Right, and I just – we have a good situation to be in. I'm reading a couple articles about, like, oh, well, did Justin Turner play his last game as a Dodger? And it's like, you know what? I hope not. I love JT. Red Turn, man, he's the best, dude. That guy is solid. He's clutch in the playoffs. He's talk about a comeback story or like what do they say? Doing something with nothing. Like that guy has turned his whole career around and really become just a great hitter. There's no denying that he can just spray the ball all
the
field.
Mighty leg kick. You add a leg kick, it changes your career.
Right. Shout out to Marlon Byrd for working with him.
Hey, it changed your adult league career. That was the best year you ever had.
I did. I modeled my swing after him, and I finally started hitting the ball hard. It was weird.
That swing mixed with a Louisville Pro Stock Light. There you go.
I never used to hit the ball hard, especially with wood. And that season, I was stroking the ball.
You were driving the ball. That and you got some. What's that shoulder hair right there? You rocking that too.
You like that?
Dang.
Yeah, I'm a hairy guy. What do you want me to say, man?
All right, bub. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate you coming on. I'll let you go. I know you got some stuff to do, but we're definitely going to do this more. One of my best friends right here. He's not doing it yet, but I think he should. He needs to start a page himself, start talking some sports because he has a lot to say. But until he does his own thing, he'll definitely be joining me more. But thanks a lot, man. I appreciate you coming on.
No problem. Diamond Debates. Thanks for having me, brother. Good luck with the show, and I'm sure I'll be back. It was fun.
Buddy. We'll talk to you soon, man. Have a good day.
All right. Peace out, brother.
Later.
Bye.
All right. Well, thanks to Bub for coming on. Thank you guys for checking out my first podcast. We're going to get this up on YouTube. I'm going to let you know what actual podcast channels will be on. This is all new. I'm figuring it out. We've been doing the videos. We're joining the podcast world, and we're coming at you with some more stuff coming up here. Like I said, be staying tuned. We got Marcus Walden of the Boston Red Sox. He will be joining me here in the next couple of weeks. Really looking forward to that. Going to really dig into kind of his career, his map to the MLB. It's very interesting. Good friend of mine, used to live with him. Bubba as well, so it's going to be good. But until then, guys, stay with Diamond Debates. Check us out on YouTube, Instagram, at Diamond Debates. I will be coming at you with more latest and greatest baseball news. Until then, guys, Diamond Debates, we're out.